Amy the Primate Helper here. First time going live on YouTube. Excited for that. I'm at the Primate Helper on YouTube, but also we're at Primates Incorporated, so thank you so much for following us and enabling us to go live. I'm just checking in. I'm Amy. I'm the founder of Primates Incorporated. I formed the organization over 20 years ago now, after working in a laboratory with 97 rhesus monkeys. I grew close to them and got to know their personalities. So although the monkeys weren't born in the wild and they knew no other life, I felt they deserved sanctuary whenever possible. Unfortunately, my laboratory management didn't agree. After working at the laboratory for 4 years or so, I got a job at the laboratory because I wanted to go to veterinary school and to gain experience with primates is a difficult area to find experience with primates. So I got a job at the primate lab at the local university, thinking that I was pretty darn lucky to get a job with primates. However, I was well liked and promoted until I wasn't. So year 4, before deciding to move on, the lab said, Amy, please stay on and apply for that research specialist position. So then I wound up being in the laboratory for another year and full time, where I really got to know the monkeys. And I thought, since I was well liked and promoted, that I could be the one to bring about change at the laboratory. So if you're just checking in, this is Amy the Primate Helper, founder of Primates Incorporated. I formed it over 20 years ago after working in a laboratory with 97 rhesus monkeys. Thousands of monkeys are still being used in research today. And so the least we can do is give back to them whenever possible. And as alternatives are implemented, we need to be these monkeys to sanctuary. Otherwise, if a lab loses funding, they're just going to give the monkeys away to another lab or put the animals down to free up space and to save money. And so it's so sad to me that people love animals and visit them at zoos and support their conservation efforts and do all this stuff for them. But then thousands are in laboratories nationwide, and when it comes to giving back to them, there's literally rarely funding to send monkeys to sanctuary, and also a difference of opinion. So thank you for checking in, and hi everyone for checking in. So with Primates Incorporated, we wanted to set an example for what's possible to send animals to sanctuary, monkeys to sanctuary, because there's over 105,000 monkeys in labs and breeding facilities nationwide. And I'm telling you this because I'm a former primate researcher. I used to work in a laboratory with 97 rhesus monkeys, and they inspired me to do more for their species. So I believe the least we can do is give back to them whenever possible, especially while research is occurring. If there's funding to test on animals, there should be funding to send them to sanctuary. Don't you agree? And then as alternatives are implemented, I really hope that the animal rights organizations will work together to create a sanctuary fund to help create more sanctuaries and expand more sanctuaries to help the hundreds and thousands of animals that could be helped. What I'm sad to see over the years, thanks for your kind words about Primates Incorporated. I appreciate that, and thanks for joining us. What I learned over the years is that so many monkeys need help, and there's many challenges in place of why they can't be sent to sanctuary. Unfortunately, there's excuses, so not enough funding. Also, the excuse that I got from the animal rights communities and animal welfare communities, there's too many thousands on, basically everyone's saying there's too many monkeys to help. Well, I don't think that that's a good excuse to not help any of the monkeys, do you? Where do you think the funding should come from to help monkeys achieve sanctuary? To help hundreds or thousands of monkeys at once, I've been looking at what hero Carol Noon did. She formed Save the Chimps. So, and also I heard since primate research is still occurring on monkeys, that no need to help them until primate research has stopped. Well, as alternatives are being implemented, we need to have a funding in place to help these monkeys achieve sanctuary. Otherwise, there's no hope for them. So we need to find funding opportunities, and basically the animal research controversy, in my opinion, is sort of getting in the way of helping animals achieve sanctuary, and here's why. Everyone thinks everyone else should be funding it. So animal rights thinks the labs need to be sending animals to sanctuary. And of course, I mean, if there's funding to test on animals, I do believe a fund should be set aside to send monkeys to sanctuary. But also the animal rights orgs who are focused only on advocacy. As you advocate for those animals to be replaced in research, you need to also please be funding sanctuaries. Otherwise, these animals aren't going to have a place to go. So this is Amy, the Primate Helper. Please follow me on YouTube at the Primate Helper, and also at Primates Incorporated. We've got this lovely opportunity to go live with you to share my story and why I formed the sanctuary. So I'll just explain that for about another minute or so and then sign off, but I appreciate you signing on and staying with me. So as a college student over 20 years ago, I had aspirations of going to vet school to be a veterinarian because I loved animals. So who doesn't want to be a veterinarian at some point in their life? But then basically I wound up working in the laboratory to gain experience with monkeys. Grew close to 97 rhesus monkeys and was promoted to research specialist. So then I thought that I could make improvements in the laboratory and even create a sanctuary program. So I worked really hard for 1 year to create the nonprofit Primates Incorporated, and I let everyone know. After we became official, I finally let some supportive coworkers know, and then as I was talking to the research veterinarian when we were working on an injured monkey, I told her about the organization I formed, and here's where the perspective change happened for me. The person I looked up to, the research veterinarian, said that sending monkeys to sanctuary was a little too animal rightsy for her taste. And what's the point of it? They just fill up and then what? So basically my dreams were shattered in about a minute's time. Perspective changed that I didn't want to become a research vet who thought about monkeys in that way. And I thought, geez, our whole place is getting funding to test on monkeys, and we can't even set aside funding and give back to them or send them to sanctuary. So that's where the perspective changed, and I thought I could still maybe bring about a little bit of change in the laboratory, but that's also if other laboratories and research facilities are having animal adoption programs and sending monkeys to sanctuary, that is certainly not animal rights. So other laboratories need to be taking notes from the labs who do send animals on so they can create a program. And if you're wondering where the funding's coming from, well, laboratories have per diems just like sanctuaries have per diems. So if an animal winds up in a non-terminal study and the laboratory workers are growing close to that animal and they're just caring for him day after day because they don't want to put the animal down, then there's a potential partnership with an animal sanctuary. So please continue to follow us on YouTube at Primates Incorporated and check out the Primate Helper. I talk about the monkey diet I formed to help the monkeys and myself where I'm walking, traveling and eating like monkeys every day to help the monkeys and myself. So if you could please check out primatesinc.com and themonkeydiet.com and see how you can help the monkeys would greatly appreciate that. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day. Appreciate the kind words.